Hello and welcome to episode 242 of my podcast all about knitting and crochet and my yarn shop here in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm Kiko and today is August 19th, 2024. And today I'm wearing two familiar pieces that I've worn on the podcast before. I'm wearing both for the third time, but I haven't worn them in this combination before. And sometimes when I knit something or crochet something, I already know, oh, this is going to pair well with something else that I already have, or I intentionally pick something so that I have a shawl to go with this pullover and so on and so forth. But sometimes I have just two pieces, and the last time I wore this top, I was looking for a shawl to wear with it, and I was quite surprised to see that this shawl really matches the top really well from the colors, and that was a surprise. I didn't think about them going together when I made them. This is the older one, the shawl I knit in 2017. This was the first project that I knit with a ball of 100 Farbspiele yarn. So 100 Farbspiele means 100 color play. And I think she was the first person in Germany to dye these color gradients. So this is half cotton, half acrylic, and she uses different number of plies for her yarn. So you can get a 3-ply, 4-ply, 5-ply and 6-ply yarn. This was a 5-ply yarn, and so the color gradient works by shifting just one of those 5 strands to a new color. So these tiny strands are then knotted together, but this is one of the few exceptions where I accept knots in my yarn. I won't undo them, but it makes for these really nice changes or fades in color. And this was the first ball that I got from her when I thought about selling the yarn in my shop, and after we talked, she picked out this color thinking that I would like it, and I loved it. The pattern is Afternoon Tea. This is a free pattern on Knitty.com. It's still available. You can just go to Knitty.com and look for shawl patterns and then look for Afternoon Tea. I changed the pattern slightly, I think. So you start off with this very easy eyelet pattern, and then you have this nice lace pattern, and I think I just added more repeats because I wanted to get all the colors of the yarn in there. And I'm pretty sure that the picot cast off, I'm not sure, I think the picot cast off could have been part of the pattern, but the beads weren't. So it's my idea to put one bead into every picot. So it's not a lot of beads in the shawl, but just a tiny little bit of sparkle and a little more weight on the edge of the shawl. And I'm really, really happy with this, with this shawl. It's one of my favorite summer shawls because it's cotton. It's not necessarily one I wear in winter a lot, but it's really nice for summer. And the top I'm wearing is a pattern by Nicolor, who's Nicola Susan, and she is the queen of the freedom and maximum freedom pattern. So you don't need to knit a gauge swatch, and you can use any yarn you like, and then knit interesting clothes. So this top starts off at the back without a gauge swatch, and then you knit to a certain size depending on your own size. It's all explained in the pattern, and I bought this yarn. The yarn's called Linello by Lang Yarns, and I bought this when I was on holiday somewhere, and it's a mix of linen, cotton and probably nylon, not quite sure now. But I really like the colors, and then I started off knitting the back, and then the sleeves are included, and then at some point you cast on stitches for the front and you start knitting in the round. And I think I knit as far as the yarn would go, and a friend of mine is now knitting the same pattern, and I was quite surprised when she was suddenly knitting a sleeve, and I'd forgotten that the pattern actually has sleeves included. I think she knits short sleeves in the pattern. I think my friend wants to do long sleeve, I'm not too sure, and I did no sleeves because I didn't have a lot of yarn and I wanted to make sure it's long enough. So and it's a summer top for me, so I didn't need sleeves, and I'm really happy with it. And now I can show you the two pieces together and you can see that the colors really match very nicely. And yeah, I'm really happy with this combination. Yeah, and as I said, I wore it to work one day, and then my sister really liked the combination, and she said you have to wear this on the video at some point. So that's what I'm doing today. Okay, so much for what I'm wearing. Then on to finished objects. I don't really have 3 finished objects. So one of the things that you already know is finished. And then I started and finished a little in-between project. And then I crocheted something very tiny. But I'll start with the oldest projects, which are the vanilla socks out of this rainforest colorway. The socks are for my nephew. And they are very, very simple. No ribbing, no nothing. Just a very simple short row heel. This is the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I think, and my favorite star toe, which has the decreases all around the toe. And yeah, very simple, but it's a perfect project to knit on the go, where you can just knit and knit and knit and don't have to pay attention a lot. And I'm very happy that they're done, and I have the next 3 pairs of socks out of the Rainforest series lined up. So I'll be starting one of those very soon. Then the in-between project, I want to talk about that a bit longer. I'll show you something old that I knitted years and years ago, and I don't think I ever made a project page on Ravelry. And it's this little funny thing. And this was knit out of a pure wool that you were supposed to knit and then felt. And back then we would do a lot of shoes, like house shoes, out of this yarn. But then I saw a pattern for a like an umbrella cozy. So I knit this to put my umbrella in. So when I'm carry around my umbrella, I can just put it in there. But after I've used the umbrella and it's still wet, I don't want to put it in my bag. So I can put it in here, and this will keep the water inside, so to speak. I've used it for that a few times, not very often. But then I found out that some of my bottles that I use to carry water or tea with me fit in here, and that sort of keeps it safe and it keeps it a bit warmer. So I've used it for that a lot. And lately I've started bringing food in glass jars like this. So this is an old glass jar that I bought. I bought the glass with something in it, and then when it was empty, I reused the glass, and I realized it fits in here. It's fairly tight and it's a bit too long, but it worked to protect the glass, and so I used it quite a lot. But then the other day I was sitting here and I was crocheting and I was thinking about granny squares, and I realized that this glass is has a square base, and I thought it'd be fun to knit to crochet a cozy for this, starting off with a granny square, and that's what I did. So I had the idea, I started crocheting, and I very quickly finished this. So I started off with a granny square. I used some leftover Catania yarn, which is a pure cotton. I then used a full ball of this light blue and some white left over, and as I said, the dark, there's 2 different darks that I had leftovers. And when the granny square itself was as big as the base of this glass, I just continued crocheting those groups of 3 double crochets without the corners, without the increases. And then I got the went for the height that I needed, and when the whole cozy was high enough that I could hold it together like this, I stopped crocheting, and then I just made this little something here and put it through the stitches, put it in between the double crochet groups, so I can close it. It doesn't have to be closed, but I like it. I could carry it around with me like this if I wanted. Yeah, so that was just a very spontaneous little in-between project. But now I'm really happy that when I put my muesli or my soup or my whatever noodles with sauce in here, I can just put it in this little cotton cozy, and it will protect the glass, and it will protect whatever else is in my bag from either the cold or the heat from whatever it is in here. So yeah, really happy with that. Very spontaneous little project. And the tiny little thing that I made that doesn't have a project page either. That's just a tiny little crochet strawberry. I had a customer who brought a book, a crochet book with lots of tiny little things in there, and my sister just loved the little strawberries, so I just quickly crocheted a strawberry for her. She'll get that, and that's it. The green thing is a bit wonky. It's not straight on top of the strawberry, but she said it doesn't matter. Okay, that's all the finished projects for today, the finished objects. On to works in progress. I start as usual with the socks. One pair of socks are finished. The surprise Sockalong, the Color Opportunity socks by Stephen West, did not get worked on, but I continued knitting on the 2 World socks for my sister, a Sock Madness bonus pattern from this year, and I actually knit the heel flap and the heel turn. And I picked up stitches. Yep, I picked up stitches, and I've already done 1 gusset decrease. So the gusset decreases are going to be on the sole, and then the sides of the stitches from the sides of the heel flap that will turn into the sole have their own pattern. Then there's a little pattern for the stitches that get decreased, and I haven't started knitting the fish yet, because with the second sock, at first there's a lot of blue, there's just water, and then I'll start with the second half of the fish. The fish head is on the first sock, and this will get the body and the tail, the end of the fish anyway. Yeah, happy I finished that. Now it's back to a lot of color work and leatherback jacquard stitches and all these kind of things. That's that sock. And the other sock is also a Sock Madness bonus pattern. It's the Bellflower socks, another rainforest color. And I finished the heel, so I put the sock on a sock block cut so I can show you. Excuse me. These are the gusset increases with their own pattern. I did mess up the pattern a little bit because after not knitting on the socks for some time, I mixed up the 2 charts, and then I didn't want to go back all the way. So I left 1 wrong pattern row in there, and then I try to get it right. It's not easy to see, but anyway. And then I did the heel turn. I got that wrong, so I actually had to rip that back. There was no way I could fix it. So I knit the heel turn twice, and then I knit the heel flap. That took quite a bit of time because there are lots and lots of tiny little cables that you can't really see, but it makes for a fairly sturdy heel flap, so I quite like that. And now I'm going to stop here and wait for my friend to come home from her holidays so she can try them on. And once she's tried them on and they fit her, I will continue knitting the leg. And I'll just now put the sock on the blocker like this so you can see the 2 finished flowers, and I've started on the 3rd one. Yeah, so that's the Bellflower socks, and that's all the socks I have on the needles. As I said, I have 3 more pairs of rainforest colors socks planned. Not quite sure which one to start with, but I'll see which one. I'll have to make a decision which one to cast on first. I'm not quite sure yet. Anyway, the next project out of sock yarn, small project out of sock yarn, is Gnatty, the current mystery gnome by Sarah Shearer. Just to remind you, it's a free mystery gnome. It's the clues are published over on Bookmarked. I'm pretty sure you can still join in with the fun if you want to. If you don't want to see it, look away now. I'm showing it now. This was clue 1. I showed that to you last week, and this is clue 2. And as you can see, I went for this color for the body. As so far, it's all knit in stockinette, and I really like the way this looks. I think it's a fun stripy body, and I'll wait. I think tomorrow the next clue will be released, so I'm guessing that we will finish the body. Not showing anything anymore. And then maybe next week we can do all the small things like arms and beards and stuff like that. But this is just me guessing what's going to happen. We'll see once it's there. And then the other small project out of sock yarn is my pattern battle slippery cowl, using this color from the Opal Abo from the subscription box. And I think last time I'd finished the first half, or the second part really. So I started with this middle part, then I did this side, and now I continued knitting on that side. And as soon as this part has the same length as that one, I can knit the stitches together in the back with a 3-needle bind off, and it'll be done. So it's not too much to do anymore, but yeah, I'm not in a hurry with this. The next subscription parcel will come in September, so there's still time to get this finished, and I'll just pick this up whenever. I don't want to concentrate too much and just have something little on the go. So that is that. Then the clothes. I did not knit on my beautiful colorwork Lanatus pullover. I did not knit on the Vinahop, which is the Alpaka pullover that I'm knitting another Nicolor pattern. And again, the skirt did not get picked up. Maybe this week, we'll see. But there's 2 more garments. There are 2 more garments that I am working on, and one of them is another Nicolor pattern, and that's the Mamaki dress. And I managed to knit several more rounds on this. And I think last week the front and back were still a little bit shorter than the sleeve, and I think this week they're just a tiny bit longer. Should be a tiny bit longer now. So yeah, nothing much changed. Otherwise, I just have to keep going. By the way, this is the cone of yarn that I have. So I've already used up quite a lot of it, and I find it really hard to estimate how much further this yarn will go. But I'll just keep going until it's almost gone, so that I can... Oh, I was thinking of doing some ribbing. Maybe I should start weighing this and see how much yarn I use for a round, but that doesn't help me because I don't know what this inside thing, how much that weighs. Well, I don't know. But I think I can still go several rounds, and maybe I'll do a very small ribbing on the lower edge. I just don't want to go without ribbing because I'm not a fan of rolled edges. So I could knit till the very end and then just drop every other stitch and pick it up as a purl stitch, and then do the ribbing like that at the end. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'll just keep going for a while still and then see what happens. Okay. And then the other garment I'm knitting is the black summer cardigan that I started a few weeks ago. And with that, I finished the 2 pattern repeats after the ribbing. So with the black yarn, it's always a bit difficult to show, but this is 1 pattern repeat and this is the 2nd pattern repeat. And after I'd finished the 2nd pattern repeat, I cast on more stitches left and right, and these are going to be the sleeves. So now I have the maximum number of stitches on the needle that this garment will ever have, and I'm still knitting on the 1st pattern repeat. I have more than half, so this was half a pattern repeat, and now the lines that went out like this are going in again, and I will knit at least 1.5 pattern repeats. After 1.5 pattern repeats, I will measure and see what it looks like, and then decide whether I say the back is finished and then cast off the stitches for the neckline, or whether I think I will actually need 2 pattern repeats for the sleeves. I don't know yet, but for now I have to get the first 1.5 pattern repeats done. So that's that. And that brings me to the two shawls that I'm knitting. And I knit on both my mystery knit-alongs. The older one, I think, is the Abloom mystery knit-along by Susanna IC, which is hasn't been a mystery for a long time now, I think. I finally finished Clue 1. I'm so happy. I did a few rows of Clue 2, not too many, but then the clues aren't as big anymore as they used to be, not as many rows anyway, more stitches. So for Clue 1, it was just the same pattern over and over again, while increasing stitches. So this side stayed the same. This side I kept increasing the number of stitches so that I get a triangle. And now that I've started with Clue 2, you can see that instead of repeating those like little arrows, I've now started knitting almost like a little flower. So it's not a big difference, but there is a difference, and I'm really happy about that. So this is the beginning of Clue 2, and so the lace pattern is already a little different than before, and starting from the next row there'll be more beads than before. So far there was only ever one, oops, stay away needle. So there's always one bead at the point of those little arrows. Hope you can see them, then they don't have a big contrast. Anyway, now starting from the next row there'll be more beads going different ways. So really looking forward to knitting them, and then maybe next week I can show you more of a difference between Clue 1 and Clue 2. And the other knit along, that's one that's still running, so in case you don't want to see, you have to look away now. Last week I had almost finished Clue 3. I'll start with that one today. So Clue 3 was this like a quarter circle thing where you had blocks of colors with all the 5 colors, and then once the 5th segment was done, the stitches were cast off with an I-cord, and yeah, that looks really nice, I think. And then I was really excited to see what was going to happen with the next clue, and I did expect to be using the stitches that we had on hold, but as you can see, the stitches are still on hold, and we actually started knitting on the opposite end of this clue. So this was Clue 2, this was Clue 1, and we actually picked up stitches from this edge. And in a way, Clue 3 and 4 are going to be similar in that I think the finished Clue 4 will have the same shape as this, but with a different pattern and with a different color placement. So this is what I have so far. It's the stitches on the other end of the shawl, and this is the pattern that I'm knitting. And I'm again doing short rows. So I've come to here. So the stitch mark is not part of the pattern, but a friend of mine, my friend Heike, started doing that, and I thought it's a really good idea. So you don't have to pay attention. If you turn around, knit 2, and then put the marker in, you know exactly where to turn the next time you get there. So I'm going to do one part with these 2 colors, and then I'll change one of the colors. Then for the 3rd segment, I'll change both colors. And then segment 4 will have the same colors as 2, and 5 the same as 1. So that's really interesting. A lot of knitting again. I'm curious to see if my yarn is going to be enough, because I changed the colors around a little bit. But so far it's not looking too bad. So it could work out. We'll see. We'll see how much I get done until next week. And then I thought after 4 clues, this would be done. But Clue 4 actually only tells us to knit the things that we're supposed to be knitting, but it does not tell us what to do with the stitches that we still have from Clue 1. So next month, we'll get the last finishing instructions. really interested to see whether we're just going to cast them off or whether anything else is going to happen with these stitches and whether she has just some other trick up her sleeve. We'll see about that. It's really, really exciting and very mysterious. Yeah, so that's the 2 shawls. That brings me to the last, oh no, not the last. I still have I knit on the blanket again. Really happy with myself for keeping that up. Last week I showed you the 2 rainforest colors from my jacket. Yeah, and then I knit those 2 black dragon colors. Those were 2 more pairs of socks for my cousin's children. The others were those colors. And then the last color I knit last week was this one. This was another Opal Abo yarn, subscription yarn. So up until now, it was like a one-off color, but I've now learned that this color will be part of the Lieblingsplatz favorite spot collection that comes out in October of this year. So if you like this color, I knit a pair of gloves for the pattern battle out of this colorway. And if you like that, it will be available from October on, wherever you get Opal yarn, Opal sock yarn. Yeah, so that's the blanket. And then the last project is my spiral granny square that I'm crocheting out of leftover Opal yarns, different colorways. So I think I'm on to the 5th ball of yarn, leftover yarn. That was another rainforest colorway that I used to knit my husband's socks. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. Very funny, very colorful. I have 2 more leftover yarns that I've already picked out to add to this, but I don't think it'll be big enough after that, but then I can sit down and choose some more colors once I get there. Yeah, and that's everything that I knit and crocheted last week. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!